You cheered for Chris Brown at the VMAs, you sang along to Michael Jackson at prom, but what if the music you grew up loving was written by men doing things you'd never want to defend out loud? Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin. He was one of the biggest names in early rock and roll, but in 1957, right as he was blowing up, he made a move that shocked everyone. He secretly married his 13-year-old cousin, Myra Gale Brown. She was still in middle school and also the daughter of his bass player. Oh, and he was still married to someone else. It didn't stay secret for long. When he went to tour in England, reporters found out. They asked him about Myra at a press event. When she admitted she was 13, everything fell apart. The tour was canceled after just 3 shows. Crowds booed, promoters backed out, radio stations stopped playing his songs. Just like that, his career hit a wall. Jerry tried to fix the story. He said Myra was actually 15. He said their marriage was legal in the US, but it didn't help. People were disgusted. Even in the 1950s, this crossed a line. Years later, Myra said she didn't even understand what was going on. On her wedding night, she asked, "When do I go home?" The two stayed married for 13 years, but it was full of drama and bad press. Jerry's music career never fully recovered. He tried switching to country music and got a few hits, but he never reached that early level of fame again. No matter what he did, people remembered the cousin marriage. This wasn't just a scandal. It was the kind of move that made fans walk away. And even now, when people bring up Jerry Lee Lewis, it's not just about his music. It's about that marriage and the fact that it happened at all. Chuck Berry's hidden camera scandal. He was a rock legend. He helped shape the sound of modern music with hits like Johnny B. Good and Roll Over Beethoven. But in 1990, fans learned something they couldn't ignore. He was secretly filming women in the bathroom of his own restaurant. It started when a former employee sued him. She claimed he had hidden cameras in the women's restroom at the Southern Air, a restaurant Berry owned in Missouri. Soon, more women came forward with similar stories. Berry denied it at first, but when police searched his home, they found videotapes, hundreds of them. The tapes showed women and girls using the bathroom, all recorded without their knowledge. Investigators also found hidden camera equipment and still photos taken from those tapes. Berry eventually reached a settlement with 59 women, agreeing to pay over $1.2 million in total. He also faced a class action lawsuit and was put on probation. This wasn't his first run-in with the law. Back in the 1960s, he had already served time for violating the Mann Act. He transported a 14-year-old girl across state lines for work and was later accused of engaging in inappropriate relations with her. That case sent him to prison for nearly 2 years. Still, the hidden camera scandal felt different. It wasn't a single accusation. It was years of behavior caught on tape. After the news broke, some fans dropped him completely. Others looked the other way, clinging to the idea that music and personal life should stay separate. But the facts were hard to ignore. The evidence was there, and the women didn't back down. Despite the backlash, Berry never lost his fame. He still performed, still got awards, and even had a documentary made about his life. But the bathroom camera case never fully went away. It stayed in the background, a dark stain on his legacy. Gary Glitter's crimes across continents. He was once a huge glam rock star. His songs like Rock and Roll Part 2 played in stadiums and sports arenas for years. He wore shiny suits, big sunglasses, and had a wild stage presence. But in 1999, everything changed, and not because of music. A computer repair worker found illegal content on Glitter's laptop. He was arrested and later admitted to having it. He served a short sentence in the UK, but after getting out, he left the country. That's when things got worse. He traveled through several countries in Southeast Asia. In 2006, he was convicted in Vietnam for serious crimes involving young girls. He served more prison time there than was sent back to the UK. He was placed under legal monitoring and barred from entering several countries after that. Even with all this, the full truth didn't come out until later. In 2012, Glitter was arrested again during a big UK investigation called Operation Yewtree. It focused on public figures accused of harming minors in past decades. In 2015, he was found guilty of several crimes, including actions involving girls under 13. These weren't rumors. These were official charges backed up in court. He was sentenced to 16 years. This wasn't just one bad decision. The court showed a pattern that lasted for years. There were multiple victims. The evidence was strong. And it all happened while he was performing, touring, and appearing on TV. Still, his music didn't fully disappear. In 2019, one of his songs was used in the movie Joker. That set off a wave of public anger. Many asked why someone with that kind of history was still getting airtime or royalties. For years, people sang along without knowing. But once the truth came out, it was clear. Gary Glitter didn't just fall from fame. He was taken off the stage for a reason. R. Kelly's secret marriage and accusations. In the 90s, R. Kelly was one of the biggest names in R&B. His songs were everywhere: weddings, graduations, award shows. But offstage, his personal life started raising serious concerns. It began in 1994 when he secretly married 15-year-old singer Aaliyah. The marriage license listed her age as 18. That wasn't true. The marriage was quickly annulled, but it left people asking questions that didn't go away. Over the years, more women came forward with stories. Many said they met Kelly when they were young and were later cut off from family and friends. Some said they were closely monitored and told when to eat, speak, or leave a room. Still, for a long time, these stories didn't get much attention. In 2002, a video was released that led to charges against Kelly involving a minor. He denied the claims and went to trial 6 years later. In 2008, he was found not guilty. He continued to release albums, tour, and appear on talk shows. For many fans, that seemed like the end of it. But in 2019, the documentary Surviving R. Kelly aired on TV. Several women and former employees spoke on camera, sharing their experiences. It shocked viewers and forced the public to take another look. Protests followed. Radio stations stopped playing his music. Artists pulled past collaborations. The backlash grew quickly. That same year, Kelly was arrested again. This time, he faced federal charges. In 2021, a jury found him guilty of using his position in the music industry to take advantage of young women. In 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Ted Nugent's controversial past. He built his career on loud guitars, wild energy, and an in-your-face attitude. His music was all about rebellion, and he leaned into that image with full force. But looking back, some of his choices and comments from the early days don't sit well with people today. In the late 1970s, Nugent had a well-known relationship with someone much younger than him. To make their time together easier legally, he arranged a type of guardianship agreement with her family. That story has followed him for years, not because of a court case, but because of how unusual and uncomfortable it now sounds. What made things worse was how openly he talked about that time. In old interviews, he made jokes and comments about being attracted to girls far younger than himself. At the time, most of it was shrugged off as part of the rock star lifestyle, but when you hear those clips now, they land very differently. Some of his songs from that era also raised eyebrows. A few included lines that hinted at behavior that wouldn't be seen as acceptable today. These tracks were performed on stage, aired on radio, and sold in record stores without much pushback. But now, people are asking why no one stopped to question it then. Nugent has never faced legal charges tied to these situations. Still, the public conversation around him has shifted. In more recent years, he's become known for his political views, often speaking about responsibility, law, and morality. That shift has made his earlier behavior even more debated. It's the contrast that makes people pause. How can someone speak strongly about values while ignoring parts of their own past? That question keeps coming up, especially as clips, lyrics, and interviews continue to resurface online. Michael Jackson and the Neverland controversy. He was one of the most famous performers in the world. His voice, dance moves, and music videos changed pop culture forever. But while his fan base grew, questions about his personal life started to build, and they didn't go away. In 1993, a 13-year-old boy and his family accused Jackson of inappropriate behavior. Jackson denied everything. The case didn't go to trial, and it was settled out of court. That left many people wondering what really happened. Fans stood by him while others had doubts. In 2003, the spotlight returned when another young boy made similar claims. This time, Jackson was arrested and went to trial in 2005. He faced multiple charges, including serious accusations involving minors. The trial lasted months and was covered heavily by the media. Cameras followed him into court every day. In the end, the jury found him not guilty on all counts. Even after that verdict, public opinion stayed divided. Some believed he was targeted because of his fame. Others pointed to past cases and said the pattern was too hard to ignore. After his passing in 2009, the debate continued. In 2019, the documentary Leaving Neverland aired, featuring detailed interviews with two men who said they had been harmed by Jackson as children. The film got global attention. It sparked new conversations, protests, and even caused some radio stations to stop playing his music. Jackson's estate strongly denied the claims and many fans defended him. But the documentary led to a major shift. For some, it confirmed long-held suspicions. For others, it was the first time they saw the story laid out in full. No matter where people stand, the controversy around Jackson never fully disappeared. His music remains popular, but the questions about his private life still hang in the background. The facts are complicated, the reactions are mixed, and the debate continues, even years later. Chris Brown's assault case. In 2009, Chris Brown's career took a sharp turn. Just before the Grammy Awards, news broke that he had been arrested after a serious argument with singer Rihanna. The story spread fast. Photos from the police report were leaked to the public and shocked fans around the world. Brown later admitted to what happened and pled guilty to a felony charge. He was sentenced to probation, community service, and counseling. The case was one of the most talked about stories of the year. His image was badly damaged, and many thought his career was over. For a while, it seemed like that might be true. Sponsors pulled deals. Awards show invites stopped coming. Radio stations dropped his songs. But slowly, Brown began to return to the spotlight. He released new music, performed at major events, and even got nominated for more awards. Some fans welcomed him back. Others were uncomfortable with how quickly the industry moved on. The conversation became less about the crime and more about how society treats celebrities who face serious charges and bounce back anyway. Over the years, Brown's name continued to show up in headlines for the wrong reasons. He had several public outbursts, including one where he threw a chair at a window during a TV appearance. He was also accused of other incidents involving aggressive behavior, though not all of them led to charges. Still, his fan base stayed strong. Albums sold well, tours were packed, and despite the controversies, many of his songs continued to climb the charts. Today, Chris Brown's reputation depends on who you ask. Some see him as an artist who made a serious mistake and worked to move forward. Others think his success shows how easily fame can erase accountability. Either way, his story became a major example of how quickly public figures can fall, and how fast they can rise again, whether or not the public agrees. The case with Rihanna hasn't been forgotten, but the way it was handled by the media, the courts, and the music world says a lot about who gets second chances and why. Marilyn Manson and the abuse allegations. For years, Marilyn Manson made a career out of shock. His music, style, and interviews were all designed to push limits. But in 2021, things took a serious turn when multiple women, including actress Evan Rachel Wood, publicly accused him of abuse. Wood had spoken about being mistreated by a former partner before, but she didn't name anyone. That changed in early 2021 when she posted on social media and called Manson out directly. She said he manipulated and controlled her during their relationship. After that, more women came forward with similar claims. Manson denied all of it. His team said the relationships were always consensual and that he was being unfairly targeted. Still, the backlash was fast. His record label dropped him. TV shows cut his appearances. Music stations pulled his songs. Even his talent agency stepped away. The public response was intense. Some fans defended him. Others said they always had concerns about his behavior, especially because of his image and past interviews. Clips resurfaced where he talked openly about dark themes and disturbing ideas. Suddenly, those old moments were being seen in a new light. One woman filed a civil lawsuit. Others shared stories with reporters and online. Investigations began. Police searched Manson's home in 2021, and legal cases are still moving through the system as of now. Some were dismissed, but others are ongoing. Even though Manson hasn't been convicted of a crime, the damage to his public image is already done. The accusations were enough to change how people view his music and career. And because he built his image around shock value, it made it harder for some fans to separate the art from the person. What made this case stand out was how many voices came forward at once, and how quickly the industry responded. Whether or not he faces further legal action, the reaction showed just how much the music world has changed. What once went ignored now makes headlines. And for Manson, those headlines haven't stopped. Adam Levine's DM scandal. As the frontman of Maroon 5 and a coach on The Voice, he was known for being smooth, charming, and family-focused. That changed in 2022 when his private messages became very public and very embarrassing. It started when a model posted screenshots of direct messages from Lavine. She said they had been in contact for a while and that the messages crossed the line, even though he was married with kids. One of the messages included a comment about naming his child after her. That's what really got people talking. More women stepped forward after that, sharing flirty and suggestive messages they said Lavine sent them. None of them claimed a relationship happened. Still, the screenshots made headlines, and the internet ran with it. Lavine responded quickly. He admitted to sending inappropriate messages but said he didn't have any affairs. He apologized and said he had used poor judgment. His wife didn't make any public comments, but the couple was seen together afterward, putting on a united front. The scandal didn't involve anything criminal, but it shook up his reputation. People were surprised that someone seen as laid back and respectful was sending messages like that while being married. The memes and jokes exploded across social media. Lavine didn't disappear, though. Maroon 5 kept performing. The scandal faded from headlines after a few weeks. But for some fans, the clean-cut image was already cracked. This case was different from others on this list. No lawsuits, no police, no years of silence, just screenshots and a lot of backlash. But it showed how fast things can change in the age of social media. A few messages were all it took to shift public opinion, at least for a while. Lavine didn't lose his career, but he did lose some of the trust fans had in his image. And in today's world, that kind of damage spreads faster than ever. Mattie Healey's public meltdowns. As a lead singer of the 1975, he was once known for being quirky, outspoken, and just a little weird, in a way that fans loved. But in 2023, that charm started to wear off fast. A string of strange interviews and messy behavior had people asking, "What is going on with this guy?" It started with a podcast appearance where Healey laughed along to jokes that many felt were offensive. The episode included comments about women and people of different backgrounds that sparked major backlash. Clips from the show went viral and fans weren't laughing. Soon after, he was seen watching inappropriate content on the same podcast, while the hosts joked about it. People said it wasn't just bad taste, it was flat-out disrespectful. Social media lit up with criticism, and even longtime fans started to back away. Healey tried to joke through it all. He posted online like nothing happened. At concerts, he made sarcastic comments and doubled down on some of the things he had said earlier. But instead of coming across as edgy, it started to feel careless. Things got worse when he made fun of other artists on stage, including popular female performers. That didn't go over well either. Musicians and fans called him out, saying his behavior was mean, not clever. Interviews from the past resurfaced, showing a pattern of behavior that many felt had been ignored for too long. Healey wasn't accused of a crime, but his public image took a hit. For someone who used to be praised for being different, the switch was fast. His actions weren't just seen as awkward, they were called out as harmful. Even as his band kept touring, the energy around him changed. What was once seen as artistic or edgy now looked out of touch. And in today's music world, that kind of shift doesn't go unnoticed. Healey may bounce back, but for now, his name is less about music and more about damage control. In 1921, a young actress named Virginia Rappe died under mysterious circumstances at a party hosted by silent film star Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle. This controversy was just the beginning. For over a century, Hollywood has been a breeding ground for disturbing rumors that turned out to be all too real. Today we're pulling back the curtain on Tinseltown's darkest truths, the casting couch, early Hollywood's open secret. The term casting couch emerged in the 1920s, referring to a troubling practice where influential men took advantage of aspiring actors for inappropriate favors in exchange for roles. Louis B. Mayer, co-founder of MGM Studios, was notorious for this behavior. Mayer held private meetings with young actresses, often leading to uncomfortable situations. In 1935, dancer Patricia Douglas attended an MGM party where she was reportedly a victim of misconduct by a studio salesman. Despite filing charges, the case was quickly buried. Joan Crawford, who started her career in the 1920s, spoke about her experiences years later. "I never slept with a man I didn't want to. No one ever made me do anything I didn't want to do." However, her words hinted at the pressures faced by many actresses. Marilyn Monroe once said, "Hollywood is a place where they'll pay you $1,000 for a kiss and 50 cents for your soul." This quote reflects the industry's moral bankruptcy. In 1937, child star Shirley Temple, then 9 years old, was inappropriately approached by MGM producer Arthur Freed. When she laughed at him, Freed reportedly exposed himself. Temple's mother quickly removed her from the situation. The silent film era saw its share of scandals too. The Fatty Arbuckle case in 1921 shocked the nation when actress Virginia Rappe died after a party at his hotel. Though Arbuckle was eventually acquitted, the incident shed light on Hollywood's darker side. By the 1930s, the Hays Code was introduced to clean up Hollywood's image. However, behind closed doors, the exploitation continued. Judy Garland's studio-enforced diet pills. Her road to stardom was paved with studio control and dangerous health practices. MGM signed Garland at 13 in 1935. From the start, studio head Louis B. Mayer criticized her weight, calling her "my little hunchback." By 1938, during the filming of Love Finds Andy Hardy, 16-year-old Garland was put on a strict diet. Studio doctors prescribed Benzedrine and amphetamine for weight loss and seconal barbiturate to help her sleep. This dangerous cocktail kick-started a lifelong struggle with addiction. Garland's daily meal often consisted of just soup, black coffee, and 80 cigarettes, along with the prescribed pills. During the filming of The Wizard of Oz in 1939, the studio wanted her to lose more weight. She was 17 and weighed 94 pounds. In 1943, while filming Girl Crazy, Garland collapsed on set multiple times due to exhaustion and malnutrition. The studio's response was to give her a brief rest before pushing her back to work. Garland later recalled, "They had us working days and nights on end. They'd give us pills to keep us on our feet long after we were exhausted. Then they'd take us to the studio hospital and knock us out with sleeping pills." By 1947, Garland's health had deteriorated significantly. She attempted to end herself on the set of The Pirate. Despite this, MGM continued to push her, leading to her suspension in 1948 due to erratic behavior caused by addiction. "I was in the studio system for 15 years and I thought they were going to kill me," Garland said in a 1967 interview. She suffered numerous breakdowns and was admitted to sanitariums multiple times throughout her career. The long-term effects of this studio-enforced regimen were devastating. Garland struggled with addiction and health issues for the rest of her life. She died in 1969 at age 47 from an accidental overdose, a tragic end tied directly to the abusive practices she endured in her youth. Alfred Hitchcock's obsession with Tippi Hedin. His obsession with Tippi Hedin during the early 1960s revealed a dark side to the famed director. Hedin, a model-turned-actress, was discovered by Hitchcock in a TV commercial in 1961. He immediately signed her to a 7-year contract. Hedren's first role was in The Birds, 1963. During filming, Hitchcock's behavior became increasingly controlling. He dictated her wardrobe off-set and forbade her from socializing with the cast and crew. Hedin later stated, "Every time I'd be talking with a male member of the cast or crew, my next exchange with Hitchcock would be icy." The most harrowing incident occurred during the filming of the attic scene. Hedin was told mechanical birds would be used. Instead, live birds were thrown at her for 5 days straight. She suffered cuts, exhaustion, and a nervous breakdown. When a bird nearly pecked her eye, she snapped, "I think you got your scene, Mr. Hitchcock." In 1964, during the production of Marnie, Hitchcock's obsession intensified. He had a mask of Hedren's face made for his personal use and installed a secret door between his office and her dressing room. Hedin recounted a disturbing incident in her trailer. "He touched me inappropriately. It was uncomfortable and deeply unsettling. The harder I fought him, the more aggressive he became." After Hedin refused his advances, Hitchcock threatened to ruin her career. True to his word, he kept her under contract for 2 years without work, effectively stalling her career. Hitchcock's behavior wasn't limited to Hedin. Actress Diane Baker, who co-starred in Marnie, observed, "I saw Hitchcock verbally abuse Tippi and I was shocked." In 1966, Hedin finally broke free from her contract with Hitchcock. However, the director's influence in Hollywood made it difficult for her to find work. She later said, "He ruined my career, but he didn't ruin my life." Hedin kept silent about these experiences for decades, only speaking out in detail in her 2016 memoir, Tippi. Her story shed light on the abuse of power that was all too common in Hollywood during that era. Roman Palansky's assault case. On March 10, 1977, film director Roman Palansky, then 43, was arrested in Los Angeles. The charge, drugging and misconduct of a 13-year-old girl, Samantha Gailey, now Guymer. The incident occurred at actor Jack Nicholson's home during a photo shoot for French Vogue. According to court documents, Palansky gave Gailey champagne and part of a Quaalude. He then allegedly continued with inappropriate actions despite her objections. Gailey later testified, "I was mostly just on and off saying, 'No, stop,' but I was afraid." Palansky faced legal charges on multiple counts related to inappropriate conduct, including allegations involving the use of a controlled substance and misconduct with a minor. He initially pleaded not guilty to all charges, but later accepted a plea bargain. On August 8, 1977, Palansky pleaded guilty to unlawful activity with a minor. Per the plea deal, the probation report recommended probation. However, on the day of sentencing, February 1, 1978, Palansky fled to France. He had learned that the judge, Lawrence J. Rittenband, planned to sentence him to prison and subsequent deportation. France refused to extradite Palansky due to its limited extradition treaty with the U.S. Palansky continued his film career in Europe, even winning an Oscar for The Pianist in 2003, which he couldn't collect in person. In 2009, Palansky was arrested in Switzerland at the request of U.S. authorities. He spent 67 days in custody before being released and returning to France. Guymer, the victim, has since stated she forgives Palansky and believes the case should be dropped. In a 2013 interview, she said, "I'm not going to carry a bunch of resentment, and much worse things happen to people." Despite this, attempts to resolve the case have been unsuccessful. In 2017, Palansky's offer to return to the U.S. for time served was rejected by L.A. County Superior Court Judge Scott Gordon. As of 2024, Palansky remains a fugitive from the U.S. justice system. Rob Lowe's tape scandal. In July 1988, 24-year-old actor Rob Lowe became embroiled in a controversy that nearly derailed his career. The incident occurred during the Democratic National Convention in Atlanta, where Lowe was supporting presidential candidate Michael Dukakis. On the night of July 17th, Lowe met two young women at a bar and brought them back to his hotel room. Unbeknownst to Lowe, one of the women, 16-year-old Jan Parsons, was underage. The encounter was videotaped, creating what would become one of Hollywood's first celebrity intimacy tape controversies. The tape surfaced months later when Parsons' mother found it and reported it to the authorities. On February 24, 1989, the story broke in the media, causing immediate shockwaves in Hollywood and beyond. Lowe initially denied any wrongdoing, claiming he didn't know Parsons was underage. He stated, "I didn't ask for ID going into a club. It was Atlanta, the home of Coca-Cola, not the home of underage girls." The controversy had severe consequences for Lowe's career. He was dropped from several film projects and lost numerous endorsement deals. His appearance at the 1989 Academy Awards was met with open hostility from some attendees. Legal ramifications followed. Lowe faced criminal charges for misconduct with a minor and distributing explicit material. To avoid prosecution, he agreed to perform 20 hours of community service in his home state of Ohio. The incident also led to a civil lawsuit from Parsons' family, which was settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. As part of the settlement, Lowe was required to publicly apologize. In the years following the scandal, Lowe worked to rebuild his career and reputation. He entered rehab for alcohol addiction in 1990, a move he credits with helping him turn his life around. Woody Allen's relationship with Soon-Yi Previn. In January 1992, Mia Farrow discovered unclothed photos of her adopted daughter, Soon-Yi Previn, in Woody Allen's apartment. Allen, then 56, had been in a relationship with Farrow for 12 years. Soon-Yi was 21 at the time and had been adopted by Farrow and her ex-husband Andre Previn years earlier. The discovery sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the public. Allen confirmed the relationship in August 1992, stating, "I'm thrilled." The admission came amid a bitter custody battle between Allen and Farrow over their 3 children. Allen's film, Husbands and Wives, released in September 1992, became unintentionally controversial due to its plot similarities to the real-life scandal. The film's premiere was marked by protests and media frenzy. In 1993, a judge in the custody case called Allen's behavior with Soon-Yi grossly inappropriate. The court denied Allen visitation rights with his daughter Dylan and limited contact with his son Satchel, now Ronan Farrow. Despite the controversy, Allen and Soon-Yi married in Venice on December 23, 1997. Allen was 62, Soon-Yi 27. The ceremony was small, with only a handful of guests present. In a rare 2015 interview with NPR, Allen addressed the relationship's beginnings. "I was paternal. She responded to someone paternal." This statement further fueled critics who found the relationship's power dynamics disturbing. The scandal significantly impacted Allen's career. Several actors, including Greta Gerwig and Timothée Chalamet, later expressed regret for working with him. Amazon Studios terminated a 4-picture deal with Allen in 2019, citing renewed allegations of misconduct by Dylan Farrow. As of 2024, Allen and Soon-Yi remain married and have 2 adopted daughters. The controversy continues to spark debates about power, consent, and morality in Hollywood relationships. R. Kelly's illegal marriage to Aaliyah. On August 31, 1994, R&B singer R. Kelly, then 27, illegally married his 15-year-old protégée Aaliyah in a secret ceremony in Rosemont, Illinois. The marriage certificate falsely listed Aaliyah's age as 18. Kelly had met Aaliyah 3 years earlier when she was 12. He became her mentor, producer, and lead songwriter for her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, released in May 1994. The album's title now seems disturbingly prophetic. Vibe magazine published a copy of the marriage certificate in December 1994. The revelation sparked immediate controversy. Aaliyah's family was reportedly furious and moved quickly to have the marriage annulled in February 1995. Kelly's former tour manager, Demetrius Smith, later admitted to obtaining a fake ID for Aaliyah. In the 2019 documentary Surviving R. Kelly, Smith stated, "I was in the room when they got married. I'm not proud of that." Both Kelly and Aaliyah initially denied the marriage. In a 1994 interview, Aaliyah said, "I'm not married. That's all there is to it." She maintained this stance until she died in a plane crash in 2001. The illegal marriage came to light again during Kelly's 2019 arrest on federal charges. Prosecutors alleged Kelly bribed a government official in Illinois to create a fake ID for Aaliyah. In 2021, during Kelly's exploitation trial, a witness testified that Kelly married Aaliyah because he believed she was pregnant with his child. The marriage would have protected Kelly from charges. Kelly was ultimately convicted on all 9 counts against him, including racketeering and exploitation. The illegal marriage to Aaliyah was a key part of the prosecution's case, Harvey Weinstein's decades of serious misconduct. On October 5, 2017, the New York Times published an exposé detailing nearly 3 decades of coercion allegations against Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein. The article, by Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey, cited interviews with numerous women in the film industry. Among the first accusers were actress Ashley Judd and former Weinstein employee Laura Madden. Judd recounted a 1997 incident where Weinstein invited her to his hotel room and asked for a massage. Madden described similar experiences in the early 1990s. The article revealed that Weinstein had reached at least 8 settlements with women who accused him of unwanted physical contact and advances. These settlements, dating back to 1990, were often accompanied by non-disclosure agreements. 5 days after the Times article, The New Yorker published Ronan Farrow's investigation, which included 13 more women's accounts of alleged abuse by Weinstein. 3 women accused Weinstein of SA. Actress Rose McGowan, who had alluded to her experience for years, publicly accused Weinstein of serious misconduct on October 12, 2017. She stated she was paid $100,000 in 1997 to sign a non-disclosure agreement. By October 31st, over 80 women had come forward with allegations against Weinstein. The list included high-profile actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Salma Hayek. Weinstein was dismissed from the Weinstein Company on October 8, 2017. He was later arrested and charged in New York on May 25, 2018, for serious misconduct. On February 24, 2020, Weinstein was found guilty of 2 serious offenses and sentenced to 23 years in prison. Bill Cosby's serial assaults. For decades, Bill Cosby was known as America's dad, beloved for his role on The Cosby Show. However, beneath this wholesome image lurked a serial predator whose crimes spanned half a century. The first public accusation against Cosby came in 2005 when Andrea Constand filed a lawsuit alleging he drugged and acted inappropriately toward her in 2004. During the case, 13 other women came forward with similar stories. The suit was settled out of court in 2006 for $338 million. Despite these allegations, Cosby's career continued largely unaffected until October 16, 2014. During a stand-up performance in Philadelphia, comedian Hannibal Buress seriously referred to Cosby, rekindling public interest in the allegations against him. In the following months, dozens of women came forward with stories of coercion dating back to the 1960s. Many described a similar pattern. Cosby would offer them drinks, which were allegedly drugged, and then SA them while they were incapacitated. On December 30, 2015, Cosby was arrested and charged with 3 counts of aggravated indecent moves against Andrea Constand. This was the first criminal case against Cosby, as most other allegations fell outside the statute of limitations. Cosby's first trial in 2017 ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. However, in a retrial on April 26, 2018, Cosby was found guilty on all 3 counts. On September 25, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison. During the trial, 5 other women testified about their experiences with Cosby, establishing a pattern of behavior. One of these women, Janice Dickinson, testified that Cosby coerced her in 1982 after giving her a pill. Cosby's conviction was overturned by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court on June 30, 2021, due to a violation of his due process rights. He was released from prison the same day, having served nearly 3 years. Kevin Spacey's predatory behavior. On October 29, 2017, actor Anthony Rapp alleged that Kevin Spacey made a misappropriate advance toward him in 1986, when Rapp was 14 and Spacey was 26. This accusation, published in a BuzzFeed article, marked the beginning of Spacey's downfall. Spacey responded on Twitter, claiming no memory of the incident, but offering an apology. In the same statement, he came out as gay, a move widely criticized as an attempt to deflect from the allegations. Following Rapp's accusation, numerous other men came forward with similar stories. On November 1, 2017, actor Roberto Cavazos alleged that Spacey groped him in the mid-2000s at the Old Vic Theatre in London, where Spacey was artistic director from 2004 to 2015. The Old Vic conducted an internal investigation revealing 20 personal testimonies of alleged inappropriate behavior by Spacey between 1995 and 2013. Many of these incidents occurred on the theater's premises. On November 3, 2017, Netflix cut all ties with Spacey, halting production on House of Cards and shelving his film Gore. Ridley Scott reshot Spacey's scenes in All the Money in the World, replacing him with Christopher Plummer just weeks before the film's release. In 2018, Spacey was charged with indecent conduct in Nantucket, Massachusetts, for allegedly groping an 18-year-old man in 2016. The case was later dropped when the accuser invoked his Fifth Amendment rights during a hearing about his missing phone. In May 2022, Spacey was charged with 4 counts of SA against 3 men in the UK, dating back to incidents between 2005 and 2013. In July 2023, Spacey was found not guilty of these charges in a UK court. Despite the court verdict, Spacey's career has been irreparably damaged. His last major film role was in 2018's Billionaire Boys Club, which earned only $618 on its opening day.
While millions of people were engrossed in the incredible movies and shows produced by the industry, both in their homes and cinemas, they remained oblivious to the darkness lurking within. Beyond the glamour and talent that Hollywood exuded, there was an underworld that was very different from what was being shown in the media. From rumors of murders to the mistreatment of actors and numerous atrocities that remained buried and far away from the public eyes, Hollywood was proved to be a dark and chaotic place. Well, let's just say nothing is hidden under the sun, because some of these dark and disgusting things that happened in the industry have now been confirmed to be true. The horrific fake film shoot. Anyone who knew about the film studio MGM knew that they were notorious for their dark deeds and would do almost anything to make a scandal disappear, and in order to protect their own. They had the money, the power, and the fixers, but when a biographer, David Sten, began to investigate them, he uncovered some secrets that they kept buried for years. One of these was what happened to a 20-year-old dancer named Patricia Douglas at a 1937 MGM party. According to David Sten, MGM did everything in their power to suppress the scandal when it erupted. They even went as far as hiding evidence and doing all they could to silence the victim, but it seems like her innocence screamed louder than their efforts, and soon enough their deeds were brought to the light. Although MGM was successful at burying the story back in the 1930s, David Sten found some evidence that proved that Patricia's story was real. She wasn't the young wannabe star trying to take down a powerful studio. She was a young, vulnerable girl whose innocence was taken away at an MGM party. In the words of the biographer, I managed to find old newspaper coverage, previously unseen photos, damning studio documentation, long-forgotten legal records, privately shot cinematographic evidence hidden in an MGM film vault, and, most amazing, Patricia Douglas herself. After 65 years of silence, she was finally able to tell her side of the story. According to Patricia Douglas, that incident completely broke her and turned her life upside down. Before that day, she was living a normal life and was already a part of the entertainment industry. Her love for dancing opened her up to opportunities, and at the age of 15, she had already appeared in 2 classics. Her mother was doing well financially, so she didn't need to work. She only took on a few jobs because she enjoyed it and wanted to keep herself busy. This chestnut-haired lady with porcelain skin would later get a casting call on the 2nd of May, 1937 that changed her life. She had no idea that this call was not what she thought it was, and although she hesitated for a while, she finally said yes. Looking back on that day, Patricia regrets saying yes to that call. In her words, "They never mentioned it was for a party, ever. I wouldn't have gone. Oh God, I wouldn't have gone." Although she and hundreds of other girls were invited for this so-called shoot, they would soon discover that this was no film shoot. It was a party that Louis B. Mayer had, organized to celebrate his salesman for a job well done, but this was no ordinary party. It was going to an alcohol-fueled party where all manner of atrocities would happen. The studio had become the greatest studio in Hollywood, and they bagged distribution deals that will keep them on top for several years. This party is their way of celebrating. Patricia Douglas was one out of the 120 young female dancers that received the casting call. It will surprise you to know that a well-known casting director made these calls so the girls had no idea what was about to happen. They were supposed to be dressed in fitted cowgirl outfits, and as soon as they got to the studio, they were transported to an unknown location for this party. On getting there, Patricia saw over 300 men partying, smoking, and taking all kinds of substances. She didn't see cameras, a crew, or lights. Patricia immediately started to feel uncomfortable, as she had never had any sexual encounter before. She certainly didn't want to be in such a wild party. Sadly, there was no way any of the girls could escape. As the party went on, a particular salesman called David Rose began to admire Patricia. He pretended to want to teach her a dance step, and before she knew it, he and other friends held her down and poured liquor down her throat. Soon enough, Patricia began to feel sick, and when she went outside to get some air, David Ross dragged her to the parking lot and took advantage of her in one of the cars. Interestingly, a parking attendant witnessed the whole thing, but he later denied. Patricia did not keep quiet about what happened. She told her mother about it, and they were able to hire an attorney, but every legal step she took proved futile. No one believed her. One can only imagine how many other girls went through a similar experience that night. Patricia, the only person who was bold enough to speak up, was shut down and called a liar by MGM. With their connections, money, and power, they were able to shut the case down. Among the evidence that was later found was a letter from publisher William Randolph Hearst to Louis B. Mayer saying, "Shut this down. Make her stop." Do you realize how damaging this is to the whole movie picture industry? With the help of biographer David Sten, she was able to document what happened to her in the documentary titled Girl 27 before she passed on. The director with weird sexual preferences. After several decades of whining, dining, and having wild sexual encounters with celebrities, Scotty Bowers published a book titled Full Service: My Adventures in Hollywood and the Secret Sex Lives of the Stars. Bowers, who was said to have been a go-to guy for setting up all manner of trysts for some of Hollywood's most famous stars, decided to pen down all the escapes that these stars were involved in. While some of his celebrity clients were closeted gays and lesbian, other clients liked things that were weird and freaky. The revelations she made about Charles Laughton left everyone in shock. To the rest of the world, Charles Laughton was a brilliant director. He was a highly respected and influential figure in the film industry. Charles Laughton was an English stage and film actor as well as a director. Truth be told, his talent was recognized early in his career, and he gained fame for his versatility as an actor. He excelled in portraying a wide range of characters, from dramatic to comedic roles. Most people who were entertained by his works revered him. Some of his most notable performances include his portrayal of the hunchbacked bell ringer Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame in 1939, Captain Bligh in Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935, and his chilling role as the tyrannical barrister in Witness for the Prosecution in 1957. Everyone saw him as a talented man who was laser-focused on his career, but no one knew the secrets he was keeping from the world. In addition to his acting prowess, Laughton also ventured into directing, where he demonstrated a keen eye for storytelling and visual composition. His directorial debut was with the film The Night of the Hunter in 1955, which has since been recognized as a classic of American cinema despite its initial commercial failure. Laughton's impact on the film industry was profound, and he was highly respected by his peers. Throughout his career, he received numerous accolades, including an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in The Private Life of Henry VIII in 1933. Apparently, when he was achieving all these, he was busy behind closed doors doing things that would have shocked his fans. According to Bowers, Charles's secret sexual activities were very different from that of his celebrity friends. He said Charles was into scat proclivities. Bowers revealed that Charles liked it when his sexual partners released on him, and on some occasions, he spread these substances on a sandwich and ate it. Bowers didn't judge this act, as he was an open-minded person who believed that people should do whatever they wanted, and in his words, "The practice certainly didn't turn me on, but it was patently clear that it was regarded as a normal and acceptable part of sexual activity by its devotees, with Charles Laughton being one of them and Ty Power another. So who was I to judge? To each his own." Who would have thought that this talented man was involved in such sexual acts behind closed doors? Although there were already rumors about what he was involved in, Bowers' book confirmed the rumors and went into detail about what this celebrated director was doing behind closed doors. Charlie Chaplin and underage girls. He was a highly successful actor who was well respected in the industry. He was known to have inspired many other actors, but when rumors began to circulate about his preference in women, a lot of people lost respect for him. They simply couldn't believe it. Charlie Chaplin, a towering figure in the world of comedy, mesmerized audiences with his timeless humor and poignant performances on the silver screen. Yet, behind the laughter, his personal life was shrouded in controversy, particularly concerning his romantic entanglements. Soon enough, his secret preferences when it came to women became a subject of both fascination and scrutiny. Truth be told, Chaplin's predilection for marrying significantly younger women was evident throughout his life. His first marriage to 16-year-old Mildred Harris at the age of 29 set a pattern that would repeat itself. Despite the considerable age gap, Chaplin seemed drawn to youthful exuberance and innocence. However, his marriages were not devoid of tumult. Harris and Chaplin's union dissolved after 2 years. It would surprise you to know that he went on to date and marry yet another girl that was younger than him. The pattern persisted with Chaplin's subsequent marriages. At 35, he wed 16-year-old Lita Gray, embarking on a controversial journey that raised eyebrows even in the permissive circles of Hollywood. Their marriage was mired in scandal, with Gray alleging that she was coerced into matrimony due to her pregnancy with Chaplin's child. The marriage ultimately ended in a highly publicized divorce, amplifying the whispers surrounding Chaplin's romantic exploits. People found it difficult to reconcile the man he was in Hollywood to the man that was getting married to underage girls. In 1932, Chaplin found himself entangled with 22-year-old Paulette Goddard, who later revealed that she had initially misrepresented her age, claiming to be 17 when they first met. Despite the revelation, Chaplin pursued the relationship, culminating in marriage when Goddard was 26 and he was 47. Their union endured for 6 years, characterized by both moments of bliss and strain, emblematic of Chaplin's tumultuous romantic life. However, it was Chaplin's fourth and final marriage that garnered the most attention and controversy. At the age of 54, he wed 18-year-old Una O'Neill, the daughter of esteemed playwright Eugene O'Neill. This union, though met with incredulity and raised eyebrows, endured the test of time, remaining intact until Chaplin's passing. O'Neill's youthfulness and Chaplin's status as a renowned artist of his era magnified the intrigue surrounding their relationship. Chaplin's preference for younger women, coupled with the circumstances of his marriages, fueled speculation and gossip within the industry. While some viewed his actions as indicative of a romantic spirit unbound by societal norms, others condemned his behavior as exploitative and predatory. The allegations against Chaplin ranged from accusations of manipulation to outright abuse, with his choices seemingly confirming the suspicions harbored by his detractors. There were even rumors that he fled to a different country at a certain point in time in order to avoid certain statutory laws. It seemed like he couldn't help himself, but most people who heard about it were disappointed. They couldn't believe that such a respected man was involved in such. However, despite the condemnation he got from others, he didn't hide the fact that he preferred underage girls. She adopted her own child. Before he became a Hollywood star, it was said that Clark Gable was friends with some questionable people. Perhaps this was why he reached out to a fixer when he discovered that he got a young actress pregnant. What was done after that forever traumatized the child and made her grow up believing that she didn't have parents. If anyone was the epitome of Hollywood masculinity, it was Clark Gable. This charming, leading man-made heart swoon across the globe. He was the kind of guy you'd imagine tipping his hat as he sauntered into a room exuding confidence. And in 1934, he was smack dab in the middle of one heck of a scandal that involved a young actress named Loretta Young. She was a rising starlet with doe eyes and a smile that could light up the silver screen. At just 22, she was already making waves in Hollywood, capturing hearts with her talent and beauty. But little did anyone know she was about to become entangled in a scandalous affair with none other than the dashing Clark Gable. A 34-year-old Gable, already married, diving headfirst into a clandestine romance with the much younger Loretta Young. Their flirtation soon turned into a scandalous affair, and to complicate matters further, Young became pregnant. It was the kind of situation that could spell disaster for both their careers and reputations. Some reports claim that Gable actually forced himself on the actress and that the sexual activities between them were not consensual. When Clark Gable realized how messy the situation was, he reached out to the one person that could fix it, Eddie Mannix, a fixer with connections deep in the heart of Hollywood. He wasn't just any friend to Gable, he was the kind of friend who knew how to clean up messes, no matter how messy they were. Mannix's solution was as ingenious as it was morally dubious. He orchestrated a plan for Young to fake adopt her own child, effectively concealing the scandal of being an unwed mother. It was a move straight out of the Hollywood playbook. Young, determined to protect her child from judgment, went along with Mannix's plan, confiding only in the inner circles of Hollywood's elite. And so Judy, as she would later be named, grew up believing that Loretta Young adopted her. But as Judy grew older, the truth became harder to conceal. It was difficult to ignore the resemblance between Judy and Clark Gable. Soon enough, rumors began to spread, and people started asking questions. Years passed, but secrets have a way of coming to light. On Judy's wedding day, she confronted her mother, demanding to know the truth, and in a moment filled with emotions and regret, Young finally revealed the truth to her daughter. Judy herself later confirmed the truth in her autobiography, Uncommon Knowledge, laying bare the secrets that had been buried for so long. In the end, Eddie Mannix's solution may have spared his friend Clark Gable from immediate scandal, but it couldn't shield him from the consequences of his actions forever. This decision certainly did not spare Judy from the trauma of growing up without parents. Why Mary Nolan had 15 abdominal surgeries. If you have ever heard about Hollywood fixers, then the name Eddie Mannix certainly rings a bell. He was the one who was responsible for making most of MGM Studios' scandals disappear. Whenever something occurred and it could damage the image of the studio, he would go behind the scenes and clean up the mess before the public got to know about it. However, in July 1935, he was not doing someone else's dirty laundry. The scandal was right at his doorstep. His former lover had publicly accused him of maltreating her and ruining her life. He denied all the allegations, but when her friends and family began to speak up about what he did to her, things got a little complicated and he had to find a solution and find it fast. Mary Nolan, Mannix's ex-lover, was a well-known actress in the 1920s. Truth be told, life and career were marked by both successes and personal struggles. Nolan began her career as a Ziegfeld Follies showgirl before transitioning to silent films. She quickly gained attention for her striking beauty and talent on screen. Mary Nolan, initially performing under the name Imogen Robertson in Germany, began her film career there with Verborgene Gluten in 1925, followed by Die Feuertanzerin, which garnered her favorable reviews and a contract offer from Universum Film AG. She worked steadily in Germany until 1927, declining offers from Hollywood producers until Joseph M. Schenck of United Artists convinced her to return to the United States. Upon her return, Nolan faced scrutiny from the press and women's groups due to her past scandal, prompting United Artists to suggest a name change to Mary Nolan. She made 2 films with United Artists before joining Universal Pictures in August 1927, where she received good reviews for her role in Good Morning Judge. In the same year, she was said to have been involved in a relationship with Eddie Mannix, who allegedly used his connections to help boost her career. Mannix was married at the time, so they kept their affair a secret for as long as they could. Nolan's career received a significant boost when she was loaned to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer for West of Zanzibar in 1928, starring alongside Lon Chaney and Lionel Barrymore. The film was a hit, as was her subsequent loan to MGM for Desert Nights in 1929, opposite John Gilbert, further solidifying her status in Hollywood. However, Mannix and Nolan's affair ended abruptly in 1929. While no one knows for sure why the affair ended, it was said that the actress became an emotional wreck in the following years. Her career began to decline rapidly, and she was said to have displayed erratic behavior on sets. After a long battle with substance abuse and financial problems, her life was in shambles. It was clear that there was a lot of pain buried deep within her, but no one knew what was causing it. It was in 1935 that Mary Nolan decided to open up about what she went through in the hands of Eddie Mannix. Initially, it seemed like a publicity stunt by a desperate actress, but as time went on, people began to see that her claims were not far-fetched from what others had accused Mannix of. According to her, she lived with him in the Ambassador Hotel from the year 1927 to 1931, and they were actively in an affair at the time. As time went on, he began to treat her badly and would even go as far as hitting her and inflicting wounds on her body. She also claimed that he was responsible for the decline of her career and that he allegedly used his influence to ruin her career at a certain point. However, the most shocking part of her story was on the day he attacked her and hit her abdominal area so badly that she had to be hospitalized. The damages he caused were so severe that she had to undergo over 15 surgeries in order to survive. After she sued him, he denied all she had said and claimed that she was using the story to gain fame and sympathy from the public. But despite his claims, Mary Nolan had a solid army of witnesses behind her. Her friends and family revealed he maltreated her during the time that they were together. He also allegedly forced her to terminate multiple pregnancies, and there were times when she had to go on set with bruises because of how badly he hit her. As expected, Mannix did everything in his power to bury the story. It was said that he sent a private detective to her house to threaten her, and this was what made her drop the lawsuit. While there was no concrete evidence, anyone who heard about Mannix's heinous crimes knew that there was at least an atom in Mary's story. In the end, Mannix won and was able to bury a story that could have potentially ruined his image and career.
Everyone loves to blame cancel culture, but some of these people should have been canceled a long time ago. You weren't overreacting. You were underinformed. Here are 10 disgusting celebrities the industry helped you fall for. Sean Diddy Combs' legal battles. He was once the king of hip-hop. Big hits, flashy lifestyle, and a massive fan base. But behind the fame, a string of serious accusations. In 2017, his personal chef said he harassed her and then fired her when she spoke up. They settled the case in 2019, no details shared. Fast forward to 2023. His ex-girlfriend Cassie filed a lawsuit claiming years of abuse. She said he hurt her, trafficked her, and even blew up Kid Cudi's car. That case also settled fast. Then came the bombshell. In May 2024, CNN dropped a hotel video from 2016. It showed Diddy grabbing and attacking Cassie. You could hear the internet gasp. Diddy responded with an apology, calling his actions inexcusable. But it didn't stop there. By September 2024, he was arrested on serious federal charges, including trafficking-related offenses, organized criminal activity, and unlawful transportation. He said he wasn't guilty and stayed locked up in Brooklyn, no bail. A month later, things exploded. Reports said over 100 people, men, women, even kids, were getting ready to file lawsuits against him. The number? Around 120. Some were underage. It was chaos. In March 2025, another charge dropped, forced labor. He was accused of making people work crazy hours using fear and pressure. Again, he said he was innocent. James Franco's hidden history. He always had a certain charm. He played weird, artsy characters, joked around in interviews, and came off as the cool, harmless guy. But behind that laid-back image was a mess the public didn't see until 2018. That year, 5 women accused him of misconduct. 2 were former students at his acting school, Studio 4, which he ran in Los Angeles and New York. They said Franco used his power to push young actresses into uncomfortable and explicit scenes. Some claimed he removed safety guards during nude scenes and blurred the line between acting and manipulation. Franco denied everything. He told Stephen Colbert on The Late Show that the claims were not accurate. But the internet wasn't convinced, and his silence on social media didn't help. By 2019, 2 women filed a lawsuit. They accused him of exploiting students under the pretense of education. According to court documents, students were led to believe they had a shot at roles in Franco's films if they agreed to intense scenes. Many said they felt pressured, especially in his so-called master class. In 2021, Franco settled the lawsuit for $2.2 million. He didn't admit guilt, but he did later speak out. On a podcast, he said he had struggled with compulsive behavior and acknowledged having inappropriate relationships with students. He called it wrong, but claimed it wasn't illegal. One of the most telling signs came from Seth Rogen. He and Franco were longtime collaborators, but in interviews, Rogen confirmed he hadn't worked with Franco in years and didn't plan to again. No shade, just a clean break. Since then, Franco's disappeared from the spotlight. He's taken on small indie projects, but nothing major. Most of Hollywood has kept its distance. Noel Clarke's collapse. In the UK, he was everywhere. He acted, directed, produced, and even won a BAFTA for Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema in 2021. But the celebration didn't last. Just weeks after that award, The Guardian published a massive investigation, and everything changed. 20 women came forward. They accused Clarke of inappropriate conduct, unwanted physical contact, intimidation, and demeaning language. Some said he secretly recorded audition scenes that involved sensitive content. Others claimed he'd touched them without consent or made cruel comments during shoots. Most of these women had worked with him professionally, on set, in casting, or through his company, Unstoppable Entertainment. Clarke denied everything. He said he never broke the law and never acted inappropriately. But the accusations weren't vague. They came with names, dates, and detailed stories. The Guardian stood by the reporting, and BAFTA quickly suspended his award. ITV pulled the final episode of Viewpoint, his latest drama, right before it aired. Sky, who had long worked with him, cut ties immediately. What followed was a total shutdown of Clarke's career. Projects vanished. Offers dried up. His name, once linked to representation and success, became toxic in the industry. In April 2025, Clarke tried to fight back. He sued The Guardian for defamation. He said the article ruined his life and claimed the accusations were false and unfair. But the journalist, Lucy Osborne, testified that every story was vetted and the piece was never personal. She said it was about giving people a voice. The court hasn't ruled yet, but the damage is done. Clarke hasn't booked a major role in years. His production company stopped operating. Even with the lawsuit, there's been no public comeback, no press tour, no support from the film world. What started as a career on fire crashed hard. And the worst part? It took 20 women stepping forward for anyone to actually listen. Morgan Wallen's never-ending apologies. He went from country music's rising star to public controversy machine, and it started long before most fans noticed. In May 2020, he was arrested in Nashville outside a bar. Charges: public intoxication and disorderly conduct. Nothing career-ending, but not a good look. Months later, he blew his shot at Saturday Night Live after video surfaced of him partying maskless during COVID restrictions. The show canceled his appearance just days before airtime. Then came February 2021. TMZ released home security footage showing Wallen yelling a racial slur after a night out. The backlash was immediate. Radio stations dropped him. His label suspended his contract. The Academy of Country Music barred him from that year's awards. He apologized publicly and promised to do better, but the damage was real. Despite the fallout, Wallen's album sales actually spiked. Some fans claimed cancel culture had gone too far. Others saw it differently, a clear example of someone being rewarded for bad behavior. Either way, Wallen stayed mostly quiet, reappearing months later in interviews saying he'd been doing a lot of soul-searching. But things got weird again. In October 2023, he was seen storming off stage mid-concert without explanation, and in April 2025, SNL brought him back, but not for long. He exited the building hours before the show, leaving producers scrambling. No official reason was given. Social media lit up with fan theories and jokes, but NBC stayed silent. Behind the scenes, sources claim Wallen has become difficult to work with. Others say he just isn't interested in the spotlight anymore. Either way, the pattern keeps repeating. Do something reckless, apologize, go quiet, then resurface like nothing happened. R. Kelly's crimes in plain sight. He was once untouchable. He ruled the charts, sold out arenas, and had megastars lining up to work with him. But behind the fame, a long, disturbing trail that the industry ignored for years. The first red flag? In 1994, Kelly, then 27, secretly married 15-year-old Aaliyah. Her age was faked on the marriage certificate. The union was annulled, but questions started swirling. In 2002, a video allegedly showing Kelly with an underage girl surfaced. He was charged with possessing illegal material involving a minor, but pleaded not guilty. The trial dragged on for years, and in 2008, he was acquitted. That same year, he released more music. Business as usual. In 2017, things exploded again. BuzzFeed published a report accusing Kelly of running a cult, controlling young women and cutting them off from their families. His team denied it. But former associates started speaking out. They described rules, punishments, and disturbing levels of control. In 2019, the docuseries Surviving R. Kelly aired on Lifetime. It featured survivors, parents, and former employees detailing years of abuse. The reaction was massive. Protests broke out. Artists pulled collaborations. Radio stations dropped his music. Finally, people started listening. That same year, Kelly was arrested on multiple federal charges, including organized criminal activity and trafficking-related offenses. The details were chilling: coercion, intimidation, underage victims, and years of cover-ups. In 2021, he was convicted on all counts in New York. In 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. A separate Chicago trial in 2023 led to another 20-year sentence, 19 of which would be served at the same time. He's locked up for decades. Chris Brown's pattern of violence. His reputation never fully recovered after 2009, and that's because the problems didn't stop there. In February 2009, photos leaked of Rihanna's injuries after Brown assaulted her the night before the Grammys. The images were everywhere. Public opinion turned fast. Brown was arrested and later pled guilty to felony assault. He got probation, community labor, and court-ordered anger management. You'd think that would be rock bottom. It wasn't. In 2011, he allegedly smashed a window at Good Morning America after being asked about the Rihanna incident. The glass shattered near the street, but no charges were filed. His team blamed the media. He blamed haters. Then came the nightclub fights, parking lot scuffles, and assault allegations, year after year. In 2013, he punched a man outside a D.C. hotel. He was arrested and spent time in jail after being kicked out of rehab for anger issues. In 2016, a woman accused him of threatening her with a gun at his home. Police arrived with helicopters and a search warrant. Brown live-streamed part of it on Instagram. No charges were filed, but the spectacle was a media circus. That same year, his former girlfriend Karrueche Tran got a restraining order against him. She said he threatened to kill her. A judge later granted a 5-year order of protection. Then, in 2022, a woman filed a $20 million lawsuit alleging that Brown engaged in inappropriate conduct after giving her an unknown substance aboard a yacht. His team denied everything, and the case was later dropped, but the headlines kept piling up. One ongoing case involves fans claiming they were assaulted during a concert. Another woman says she was injured by Brown's security team outside a venue. Kevin Spacey's House of Cards collapsed fast. His fall was one of the fastest in Hollywood history. One moment he was the face of prestige drama, the next, completely erased from screens. It all started in October 2017. Actor Anthony Rapp told BuzzFeed News that Spacey made a move on him at a party when Rapp was just 14. Spacey's response? He said he didn't remember but apologized if it happened. Then he came out as gay in the same statement. That move drew backlash for trying to deflect with sexuality. What followed was a flood. More than 30 people came forward, crew members, actors, even journalists. They described similar patterns: unwanted touching, inappropriate comments, and abuse of power on set. Netflix cut ties instantly. House of Cards killed off his character and rewrote the entire final season. In 2018, he was charged in Massachusetts for allegedly groping an 18-year-old at a bar. The case fell apart when the accuser stopped cooperating, but the damage was done. He became uncastable. That same year, Spacey released a strange YouTube video in character as Frank Underwood. He looked straight into the camera, blurring fact and fiction, and said, "You wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you?" Fans called it creepy. Everyone else called it unhinged. In 2022, he went on trial in the UK, facing multiple allegations of inappropriate physical conduct. Several men accused him of unwanted advances going back years. In 2023, he was found not guilty, but the trial revealed a long pattern of questionable behavior behind closed doors. By 2025, Spacey's name is rarely mentioned in Hollywood. No new projects, no cameos, no redemption arc. Harvey Weinstein's power and silence. He was Hollywood's ultimate power broker. If you wanted an Oscar, you probably worked with him. He ran Miramax, produced critical hits like Pulp Fiction and Shakespeare in Love, and made or broke careers. For decades, his power went unchecked, and people stayed silent. That all ended in October 2017. The New York Times published a detailed article accusing Weinstein was accused of long-term misconduct and quietly settling complaints over the years. Within days, The New Yorker followed with its own expose, including on-record accounts of coercive behavior and serious violations. Soon, over 80 women came forward: actresses, assistants, models, interns. Big names like Gwyneth Paltrow, Salma Hayek, and Lupita Nyong'o added their voices. Many said he lured them to hotel rooms under the guise of meetings, then assaulted or harassed them. Weinstein denied most of it but was fired from the Weinstein Company almost immediately. The Academy expelled him. BAFTA suspended his membership. The Screen Actors Guild removed him. Hollywood, which once protected him, now ran for cover. The details were horrifying. NDAs were used to buy silence. Assistants were allegedly made to help set up his meetings. For years, his behavior was whispered about but never challenged, until it couldn't be ignored. In 2020, a jury in New York convicted Weinstein on charges related to forcible misconduct and non-consensual acts. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison. In 2022, Los Angeles charged him again. That trial led to another conviction in 2023, adding 16 more years. He'll be over 90 before he's eligible for release, if he lives that long. Weinstein's fall also triggered something bigger. The number sign Me Too movement exploded into mainstream culture. Other powerful men, directors, executives, actors, were suddenly held accountable. He wasn't just a man who abused power, he was the system, protected by it, enabled by it, and finally undone by the voices that refused to stay quiet. He built an empire on silence, fear, and control. But in the end, he couldn't silence everyone. D. Kosh's secret double life. In Singapore, D. Kosh was a household name. He built a loyal audience on YouTube, worked as a popular radio DJ, and made brand deals left and right. His content was funny, sharp, and made to feel personal. That's what made the 2020 allegations so shocking. In August of that year, multiple young men came forward online. They accused D. Kosh of sending inappropriate messages, engaging in manipulative behavior, and offering money in exchange for explicit interactions. Screenshots and voice messages quickly spread across social media. Several of the accusers were underage at the time of contact. At first, D. Kosh denied the claims. He said the messages were fake or taken out of context. But then more proof appeared. Long message threads, audio recordings, and consistent patterns. The evidence was overwhelming. His radio station, Power 98, suspended him. Sponsors disappeared. His social media presence went silent. In 2021, authorities formally charged him with the exploitation of a minor and the production of obscene films. In court, it came out that he had stored explicit videos on his phone. He had arranged to meet teenage boys and pressured them online. These weren't just allegations anymore, they were facts backed by a criminal investigation. In August 2022, D. Kosh pled guilty. He received 32 weeks in jail. During sentencing, the judge said he abused his position of influence and acted with clear intent. After his release, he didn't return to content creation. No apologies, no comeback video, just total silence. What makes his story so disturbing is how carefully he built his image. He marketed himself as trustworthy, even progressive, someone young fans could relate to. Meanwhile, behind the screen, he was using that trust to manipulate people too scared to speak up. Mr. Beast's image under fire. He was seen as the internet's good guy. Mr. Beast, aka Jimmy Donaldson, gave away houses, paid for surgeries, and helped thousands of people. His videos felt positive, clean, and drama-free. But in late 2024, things changed. A group of contestants from his big reality show Beast Games filed a lawsuit. They said the filming conditions were rough and the work environment felt toxic. Some claimed crew members were rude, and others said they didn't feel safe on set. Mr. Beast wasn't accused directly, but the lawsuit named his company and Amazon. An investigation followed. By November 2024, the results were public. No proof was found that Mr. Beast knew about any serious misconduct. But the report confirmed there were problems. Some staff had crossed the line. A few people were fired. Mr. Beast's team added new rules, set up a hotline, and brought in better managers. Fans had mixed reactions. Some said he couldn't control everything. Others thought he should have responded more clearly. Then people online started digging. They pointed out how some friends in older videos had quietly disappeared. Some remembered challenges that seemed too intense. A few clips, once funny, now felt awkward. Mr. Beast stayed quiet. No big post, no full statement. Just a quick mention that he was working on things behind the scenes. He kept uploading. Views stayed high. But something felt different. Comments got sharper. Viewers asked more questions. The shine wasn't gone, but it wasn't untouchable anymore. For years, Mr. Beast built a name on trust, kindness, and massive giving. That's why this hit harder. It wasn't one huge scandal. It was the shift in how people saw him. He's still huge, still respected, but fans are watching more closely now. And when your whole brand is about doing the right thing, people expect you to handle the tough stuff the same way. Diane Keaton's love life has always been shrouded in mystery and speculation. From her on-screen chemistry with legendary co-stars to secret romances that defied Hollywood norms, her story is one of passion, intrigue, and controversy. The beginning of an iconic career. Diane Hall Keaton was born on January 5, 1946, in Los Angeles, California. Growing up in an artistic family, her mother, Dorothy Deanne Keaton, won the Mrs. Los Angeles pageant, and her father, John Newton Ignatius Hall, was a real estate broker and civil engineer. Her journey into the limelight began with her education at Santa Ana High School, Santa Ana College, and the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York City. During this period, she changed her last name to Keaton, her mother's maiden name, to avoid confusion with another actress named Diane Hall. Her big break came with the 1968 Broadway musical Hair, where she caught the eye of director Woody Allen. This led to her starring in Allen's Broadway play Play It Again, Sam in 1969, earning a Tony Award nomination. This collaboration marked the beginning of a significant professional and personal relationship. In 1972, Keaton was cast as Kay Adams in Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather. The film's immense success catapulted her to fame, grossing over $134 million domestically. She reprised her role in the sequels, further solidifying her place in Hollywood. Her portrayal of the quirky and endearing Annie Hall in Woody Allen's 1977 film of the same name brought her widespread acclaim. It was a critical and commercial success, earning over $38 million at the box office and winning the Academy Award for Best Actress. The film also won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay for Allen. Keaton's unique fashion style in Annie Hall, characterized by androgynous clothing and menswear-inspired outfits, sparked a fashion trend that resonated with audiences, making her an unexpected fashion icon. As her career progressed, Keaton continued to choose diverse roles, demonstrating her versatility. From dramatic performances in Reds, 1981, to comedic roles in Baby Boom, 1987, her ability to navigate different genres showcased her talent and range. Through the 1970s and 1980s, she became known for more than just her acting. Her relationships with high-profile co-stars and directors fueled media fascination, laying the groundwork for the rumors and speculations about her personal life that would follow her throughout her career. The Woody Allen romance. Her relationship with Woody Allen began on a professional level but quickly evolved into a deep personal connection. Their first encounter took place during the Broadway production of Play It Again, Sam in 1969, a pivotal moment that marked the start of a long and fruitful collaboration. Allen, celebrated for his unique comedic style and neurotic on-screen persona, found an ideal match in Keaton, whose quirky charm and natural acting talent complemented his vision perfectly. Their professional chemistry was first showcased in the 1972 film Play It Again, Sam, directed by Herbert Ross but penned by Allen. In the film, she played Linda Christie, a role that was well received by audiences and critics alike, further cementing her presence in the film industry. This project set the stage for what would become one of Hollywood's most iconic partnerships. The collaboration between Keaton and Allen reached its pinnacle with the 1977 film Annie Hall. This film was not only a critical and commercial success, but also a groundbreaking work that redefined romantic comedies. Despite their romantic involvement ending in the early 1970s, Keaton and Allen maintained a strong professional bond. They continued to work together on numerous projects throughout the following decades, including notable films such as Manhattan, 1979, and Radio Days, 1987. In interviews, Keaton has often expressed her gratitude for Allen's influence on her career. She has described him as both a mentor and a partner, someone who saw potential in her that she didn't see in herself. This sentiment was evident in a 2013 interview with The Guardian, where she stated, "Woody gave me my career." Despite the controversies surrounding Allen in later years, she remained professionally loyal to him, attributing much of her success to their early work together. Their collaboration extended well into the 1980s and 1990s, with Keaton starring in Allen's films such as Interiors, 1978, and Manhattan Murder Mystery, 1993. Keaton's relationship with Allen was characterized by deep mutual respect and admiration. In a 1977 interview with Newsweek, she spoke candidly about their relationship, saying, "Woody gave me the role of a lifetime. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself." a complicated affair with Warren Beatty. Her relationship with Warren Beatty added another layer of intrigue to her life. They met in the late 1970s while working on the 1981 film Reds. Beatty, who starred in and directed the film, and Keaton, who played the lead female role, shared undeniable on-set chemistry. Their relationship, however, was marked by intensity and passion. Beatty, already a well-known Hollywood heartthrob by the time he met her, was known for his charisma and charm. His reputation as a ladies' man preceded him, and his numerous high-profile relationships had long been the subject of public fascination. The on-set chemistry between Beatty and Keaton was palpable, and it quickly translated into a real-life romance. Their relationship was characterized by deep intellectual conversations and shared creative pursuits. She once remarked in a 2016 interview with Vanity Fair, "Warren was mesmerizing. He had this incredible presence and energy." Despite their strong connection, their relationship was not without its challenges. Beatty's reputation and Keaton's fiercely independent nature often led to clashes. Beatty was known for his meticulous and sometimes controlling approach to filmmaking, while she valued her independence and had a clear vision of her own career path. These differences sometimes caused friction between them, but they also contributed to the passionate and dynamic nature of their relationship. The media closely followed their romance, capturing their public appearances and speculating about their private lives. Paparazzi often photographed the couple at high-profile events, fueling public interest and adding to the pressure on their relationship. Despite the constant media scrutiny, Beatty and Keaton managed to maintain a semblance of privacy, often deflecting questions about their relationship in interviews. Their time together was marked by both professional and personal collaboration. Beyond Reds, they explored other potential projects, although none materialized to the same extent. Their relationship lasted for a few years before eventually fizzling out. The breakup, while amicable, was a result of their differing life goals and the pressures of their respective careers. In her memoir, Then Again, she wrote, "Warren was a significant part of my life. He was brilliant, charismatic, and always full of ideas. But we were on different paths. Our relationship was passionate, but we both knew it wasn't meant to last." Al Pacino, a love that transcended films. Her relationship with Al Pacino began on the set of The Godfather, where they played Kay Adams and Michael Corleone. The film, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, became a cultural phenomenon, grossing over $134 million in the United States alone. The chemistry between Keaton and Pacino was palpable both on and off the screen. Their romance blossomed during the filming of The Godfather Part II in 1974. Keaton's portrayal of Kay, the wife who becomes increasingly disillusioned with her husband's criminal empire, mirrored some of the complexities of their real-life relationship. In a 2017 interview with People magazine, she recalled, "Al was unlike anyone I had ever known. Intense, dedicated, and incredibly talented. There was an undeniable connection between us." Despite their deep bond, the relationship faced numerous challenges. Pacino, known for his method acting and intense dedication to his craft, often found it difficult to balance his professional and personal life. Keaton, on the other hand, was equally committed to her career but longed for stability and companionship. This dichotomy led to several breakups and reconciliations over the years. Their relationship was marked by both passionate highs and tumultuous lows. In a 2004 interview with The New Yorker, Pacino described her as a significant person in my life. She was my muse, my confidant, and someone who always brought out the best in me. Their mutual respect and admiration for each other were evident, even during their most challenging times. The couple reunited for The Godfather Part III in 1990, reprising their iconic roles. The film, though not as critically acclaimed as its predecessors, still showcased their undeniable chemistry. Keaton's performance as Kay, now estranged from Michael but still deeply affected by him, resonated with audiences and critics alike. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Keaton and Pacino continued to navigate their on-again, off-again relationship. Their bond was further complicated by Pacino's reluctance to settle down and have children, a topic that she addressed candidly in her 2011 memoir, Then Again. She wrote, "I wanted a family, a sense of permanence. Al was always the love of my life, but he wasn't ready for that kind of commitment." Despite their eventual breakup, Keaton and Pacino remained close friends and continued to speak highly of each other in public. In a 2014 interview with The Guardian, she said, "Al will always be a part of me. Our relationship was intense and complicated, but it was also filled with love and respect." The brief affair with Sam Shepard. Her brief but intense relationship with playwright and actor Sam Shepard is another intriguing chapter in her romantic history. The two met in the early 1980s, a period marked by significant professional achievements for both. Sam Shepard, known for his brooding charisma and literary prowess, was already an acclaimed playwright by the time he met Keaton. His works, such as Buried Child and True West, had cemented his reputation in the theater world. Keaton, fresh from the success of films like Reds and Annie Hall, was at the peak of her career. Their meeting was a collision of two creative forces. Their affair was relatively short-lived, but left a lasting impression on both. In a 1983 interview with Rolling Stone, Keaton spoke about Shepard with admiration. "Sam is one of the most unique individuals I've ever met. He has this raw, untamed energy that is incredibly captivating," she said. Their relationship was marked by deep intellectual conversations and a shared passion for the arts. The couple worked together on the 1984 film Mrs. Soffel, directed by Gillian Armstrong. She played the title role while Shepard portrayed Ed Biddle, a convict involved in a daring prison escape. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable, reflecting the intensity of their off-screen relationship. Despite the film's mixed reviews, their performances were widely praised, showcasing their ability to bring out the best in each other. In her 2011 memoir, Then Again, Keaton reflected on her time with Shepard. "Sam was a whirlwind of creativity and emotion. Our time together was brief, but it was filled with passion and intellectual stimulation," she wrote. This period was a significant part of her life, shaping her views on relationships and artistic collaboration. The controversy with Steve Jobs. Diane's rumored relationship with Steve Jobs, the visionary co-founder of Apple Inc., is one of the more unusual and controversial chapters in her romantic history. The speculation about their connection began in the late 1980s and early 1990s, a period when Jobs was reshaping the tech world and Keaton was a firmly established Hollywood star. The rumors first surfaced in the tech and entertainment circles, sparked by sightings of the two at various events and private gatherings. The nature of their relationship remained ambiguous, leading to widespread speculation. In a 1990 article in Vanity Fair, an anonymous source close to both Keaton and Jobs claimed there was a definite spark between them. They shared a mutual respect and fascination for each other's work. They were seen together at several high-profile events, including a 1988 benefit gala in San Francisco. Their public appearances fueled media speculation, with tabloids and magazines keen to uncover the truth about their relationship. Despite the attention, both maintained a tight-lipped stance, neither confirming nor denying the rumors. In a 2011 interview with the New York Times, Keaton addressed the speculation with her characteristic wit. "I've always admired Steve's genius, but beyond that, I prefer to keep my personal life personal," she said, neither confirming nor dispelling the rumors. The media frenzy surrounding their rumored relationship highlighted the intersection of Hollywood glamour and Silicon Valley innovation. It was a coupling that intrigued the public due to the stark contrasts in their personalities and professional worlds. Keaton, with her quirky independent spirit, and Jobs, with his intense, often abrasive drive for perfection, seemed an unlikely but fascinating pairing. Despite the persistent rumors, there was no concrete evidence to confirm a romantic relationship between Keaton and Jobs. Their interactions, while undoubtedly significant, remained shrouded in mystery. This ambiguity only added to the intrigue, making it one of the most talked about and least understood aspects of her romantic life. In a 2005 interview with Vanity Fair, an unnamed friend commented on the relationship. Diane and Steve had a unique connection. Whether it was romantic or purely intellectual, only they know. But there was definitely something special between them, the friend said. The Nicholson Enigma. Her rumored involvement with Jack Nicholson is one of Hollywood's most enduring and enigmatic stories. The two first met on the set of the 1981 film Reds, directed by Warren Beatty, where Nicholson played the role of Eugene O'Neill. Although they were never officially a couple, their undeniable chemistry and close friendship led to years of speculation about the true nature of their relationship. Nicholson and Keaton shared a unique bond, marked by mutual respect and a deep understanding of each other's eccentricities. In a 2013 interview with The Guardian, she described Nicholson as one of the most charming and enigmatic people I've ever known. Their camaraderie was evident both on and off the screen, fueling rumors that there might be more than just friendship between them. Their professional collaboration took a significant turn with the 2003 romantic comedy Something's Gotta Give, directed by Nancy Meyers. They starred as Erica Berry and Harry Sanborn in a film that explored the complexities of love and relationships in later life. The movie was a commercial success, grossing over $266 million worldwide, and Keaton's performance earned her a Golden Globe Award and an Academy Award nomination. On the set of Something's Gotta Give, the chemistry between Keaton and Nicholson was palpable. Their on-screen romance, filled with humor and genuine affection, led to widespread speculation about their off-screen relationship. In a 2004 interview with Oprah Winfrey, Keaton addressed these rumors, stating, "Jack and I have always had a special connection. He's a dear friend, and our time together on set was magical. But it's just that friendship." Nicholson, known for his charismatic and often unpredictable personality, also spoke highly of Keaton. In a 2003 interview with the New York Times, he said, "Diane is a remarkable woman, both on and off the screen. Working with her was a joy, and our friendship is something I truly cherish." His admiration for Keaton was clear, adding fuel to the ongoing speculation. Their close friendship continued beyond the film's production, with the two often seen together at industry events and social gatherings. Paparazzi captured numerous photos of them sharing laughs and intimate moments, further igniting rumors. Despite this, both Keaton and Nicholson maintained that their relationship was purely platonic. Warren Beatty, who had worked closely with both actors, commented in a 2004 Vanity Fair article, "Jack and Diane have a unique connection that's hard to define. They're kindred spirits, and that kind of bond is rare in this industry." This sentiment was echoed by other friends, who noted the deep understanding and mutual respect between Keaton and Nicholson. The persistent rumors about a controversial secret lover. Throughout her career, Diane Keaton has been known for her enigmatic persona, and nowhere is this more evident than in her references to a significant yet unnamed romantic partner. This mystery man has been a subject of speculation among fans and the media, adding an aura of intrigue to Keaton's already fascinating life. Keaton first hinted at this secret relationship in various interviews during the late 1980s and early 1990s. While she has often been candid about her high-profile romances with Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, and Al Pacino, this particular relationship remained shrouded in secrecy. In a 1995 interview with Vanity Fair, she mentioned, "There was someone very special in my life, someone who had a profound impact on me, but it's a part of my life I choose to keep private." The secrecy surrounding this relationship fueled rumors and speculation. Some suggested it might have been a powerful figure in Hollywood, while others believed it could have been someone entirely outside the industry. The mystery only deepened with Keaton's cryptic comments in subsequent interviews. In a 2001 chat with Oprah Winfrey, she said, "Not everything needs to be shared with the world. Some things are too precious, too personal." Friends and colleagues who were aware of the relationship respected Keaton's desire for privacy. Actor and close friend Jack Nicholson once remarked, "Diane has always been very private about certain aspects of her life. She has her reasons, and those of us who know her respect that." This tight circle of trust ensured that few details about the mystery man ever leaked to the public. Her reluctance to divulge information about this significant other has been linked to her broader views on privacy and fame. In her memoir, Then Again, she wrote, "Fame is a double-edged sword. It gives you opportunities, but it also takes away your anonymity. There are parts of my life that I want to keep for myself, and I think that's important." This philosophy explains her guarded approach to discussing this relationship. Despite the lack of concrete details, Keaton's reflections on this mystery man reveal the depth of their connection. She often described him as a stabilizing force in her life, someone who provided emotional support and understanding. In a 2012 interview with The Guardian, she stated, "He was a rock for me during some of the most challenging times in my life. His presence was a constant source of comfort." In a 2018 interview with the New York Times, Keaton offered a rare glimpse into why she chose to keep this relationship private. "Some things are just too sacred to be put on display. I've shared a lot with the world, but there are some things that are mine alone. That relationship is one of them," she said.